We are now at the entrance of the Jewish quarter. Behind me is the Spanish synagogue and of course this interesting statue. The statue depicts the most probably famous inhabitant of the Jewish neighborhood of Prague, who is Franz Kafka. Franz Kafka is one of the most important writers of the 19th century, and he was actually a Jewish Austrian German, so he was not ethnically Czech, but he lived here and is considered very important in this country and in this city. Now, the statue is inspired by his story, Diary of a Struggle, and it represents probably him riding on a statue of a man with no hands and no face, and the whole statue probably represents him like as a kid on the shoulder of his dad, because Kafka had a peculiar relationship with his dad, considering that he wanted to always be a writer, but his dad wanted him to be a businessman, and for this reason Kafka was always trying to convince him, but had a lot of trouble doing that. There was a lot of difficulty in communication. The statue was built in 2003 by sculptor Jaroslav Lona, who won a contest on the matter. And Franz Kafka is a very interesting character, and there's so much to say about him. And in a few weeks, we will surely publish some more information about him and a video specifically on the subject, so you can get more information on that matter. So, here in the Jewish neighborhood, there are so many synagogues we can see, and they were built at different time of its existence, because the Jewish neighborhood existed for a very long time, since probably the 10th, 11th century until today, and it experienced a lot of different periods. The synagogue behind me is the Spanish synagogue. Now, the Spanish synagogue was built very recently, at the end of the 19th century, during the restoration of the Jewish neighborhood. As you can see, the style is quite peculiar. It's very Middle Eastern looking, because this is a style called Arab Reformation style. It's inspired by the Arab buildings that were built in Europe, especially in Spain, because Jews have an interesting story with Spain, since during the Reconquista period and the Inquisition period, a lot of them were, well, forced to convert or leave the region. Now, the synagogue is still active today, and what's also interesting is that on my left there's another church, which is interesting, a church in the Jewish neighborhood. The church was built with, ironically, a similar intent in mind as the Spanish Inquisition. It was built for Jews who wanted to convert to Christianity. And it's interesting that in the place Jews escaped to, not to convert, there is actually a place in which they could, and it's a very interesting story. There's many other synagogues in the rest of the synagogue, in the rest of the Jewish neighborhood, and little by little we'll get the chance to see them all. At another synagogue, this is called the All New Synagogue. Now, this is another interesting one because it's the oldest still standing. There was an even older synagogue in place of the Spanish synagogue we just saw. That's why it's called All New. It has this weird name. Now, this synagogue is really interesting because it's the main one still used today. It's the main hub of the Jewish community of the city, and it is also connected to the legend of the Golem. Now, some of you might know what a golem is, but many will not, so I will tell you. Now, a golem is a mythological creature of Jewish folklore. It's basically a construct made of clay, kind of a robot made of clay. That's why today, in modern Hebrew, golem is still used as the word for robot. And the rabbis, who had the most talent with Jewish exotericism and Jewish magic, would activate these constructs by writing on their forehead something like "wake up, activate," and then they would use them to do heavy jobs or to protect other people of the ghettos from pogroms, and then they had to put them back to sleep once more. Now, the Golem story of Prague is an interesting one because it's connected to a very famous rabbi who's called Rabbi Lev. Rabbi Lev is a real person. He actually existed, and but his story is kind of semi-legendary because he was such an expert in every field of knowledge, such as alchemy, philosophy, and of course Jewish esotericism and the Kabbalah, that became known as the Marshal of Prague. The Marshal of Prague means the wise master, the great master. So for this reason, Mr. Lev became also very popular in the Bohemian court, which was very uncommon for a Jew at the time, for being able to cure infertility. Apparently he was able to cure infertility in women, and that's why there's a statue of him with a fertile woman in Mariatsky Namesty in front of Nova Radnice, which is the new town hall. The story of the golem says that one time the Rabbi Lev activated one of these golems and forgot to put it back to sleep. It was probably called the court of Bohemia in a rush for something, for some danger. And the golem stayed in the synagogue, like on the top, looking from the window with his hand crossed, with nothing to do. Golem are soulless and mindless, so they need orders. Sadly, what happened is that the golem saw from the window outside a killing happening, a murder. So the golem thought, hey, maybe that's what you have to do, maybe it's an order, maybe it's a command. So the golem escaped the synagogue and started killing the inhabitants of the ghetto. For this reason, Rabbi Lev was called in a hurry back to the ghetto. Please, Rabbi, save us from the golem. And he did. He managed to save the city from the golem and managed to put it back to sleep. However, even though the citizens wanted him to destroy it, he decided not to. He decided that he was moved by his independence, by his freedom of thought in a way, and according to the legend, the golem still stays dormant beneath the foundation of the synagogue. One last thing I want to show you here is that, as you can see, there's some different levels in the cup block. Like you can climb down here, and also the Jewish cemetery, which is a bit farther there, it's on a higher level. The reason is because of dead loved ones of Jewish people. Now, the city government, the city administration didn't give Jewish people much space to bury their loved ones. So in order to do so, in order to save as much space as possible, sometimes they would dig the graves of the loved ones even deeper, so they could stack caskets one on top of each other to create this sort of pile of caskets. And that's why the ground is uneven here. So we're now in front of Pinkasa Synagogue. This is also the location of a Jewish cemetery, one of the most relevant and important monuments in the city. I thank you for watching us. I hope you enjoyed the video. We will post many more, and just look at the links in the description if you're interested in booking a tour with us and seeing the city with your own eyes.